Hello, YNABers. My name is Jesse Meekum, and this is podcast number 38 for You Need a Budget, where we teach you 4 rules to help you stop living paycheck to paycheck, get out of debt, save more money, especially for that beautiful day sometime in the future. For me, quite far into the future because I still consider myself quite young. For some of you, just around the corner. And that great day, far in the future or close, is retirement. We help you save for retirement. Nobody likes to save for retirement because it's some kind of far-off, distant dream. You don't get any direct satisfaction from purchasing shares in mutual funds. It's not like going and buying a new car or even going to a movie where you get instant gratification for that purchase. When it comes to retirement, you're just putting things off for probably a really long time. And it's interesting because when you talk to financial advisors or when you read retirement-focused books, they all talk about investing. They talk about how to get a better return, how to diversify, how to do the appropriate risk analysis for your risk tolerances, and then make sure that your asset allocation matches those risk tolerances. They talk about stocks and bonds and mutual funds and ETFs and SPDR, blah, blah, blah. And it goes on and on and on. All these really sexy sounding words and confusing terms and how much you should save for retirement, what percentage of your income needs to go toward retirement, when you should start your retirement, how long you're going to live, all those things. The number that people never ever talk. There's actually a book, I think it's called The Number, and it's about retirement. And the number is your nest egg. How big does it have to be? The interesting thing I find with all this talk about retirement is that the number that's never talked about, the number that is constantly ignored, books are written about retirement, and you don't hear about this, is your expenses, your retirement expenses. Now, we'll hear people talk about how healthcare costs will be very high in the future, and that will be a big expense. Yeah, okay. Probably, maybe, hopefully not. But that aside, as far as expenses go, people don't talk about much else. And you'll often hear people say, oh, when you retire, you can plan on 70% of your expenses. And the financial advisors I talk to all kind of laugh and snicker and scoff when you say that. Most of the time when people want to retire, their life gets simpler in the sense that they don't drive to and from work every day. They maybe don't have to purchase quite as extensive a wardrobe because they're not working anymore and they're dressing like bum. No, I'm just kidding. There may be those expenses that you don't have, wear and tear on a car, but you're going to be doing things when you're retired. You're going to be traveling. You're going to be busy. Hopefully, just doing whatever you want to do in retirement. And your expenses don't really drop. I at least wouldn't count on it. When I retire, I want to have the exact same income I had the minute before I retired. Is that stupid? I don't know, but I guess it's more my conservative side coming out. So yeah, I want to have enough to be able to live comfortably. The key to living comfortably in retirement is managing your expenses. That's where the budget comes in. Retirees that are following YNAB and our 4 rules do awesome with this. Because when they're getting ready for retirement, they know exactly how much they spend. They're including those future, larger expenses that people don't include when their financial advisor asks them, hey, how much do you spend? And they're saying, well, I spend this, 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 and this. And the advisor looks and says, okay, well, according to this, you got $30,000 extra dollars per year. Where's that going? And they kind of scratch their head and scrunch their eyebrows and wonder. They don't know what they're spending. And most people, when they're getting set up for retirement, just totally gloss over that critical requirement. When you're looking at cash flow and you're looking at how much cash an investment could throw off, it's really interesting to see how quickly a nest egg will dwindle when you're pulling out too many expenses. And you get a lot of advisors that will say, well, we've got these retirees and we gave them a budget and we said, this is how much you can spend per year. And then they say, oh, you know what? We need to remodel our kitchen. It's been 10 years. That was not an expense that was included in the original forecast. Oh, we need to go travel here. We need to go do this. We need to go do that. Those expenses were not included in their month-to-month living expenses. So when you set up your expenses when looking at retirement, you have to look at the big expenses, those rainy day funds from Rule 2. And say, okay, we're going to be traveling this much. We're going to be remodeling the house every so often, doing this or that improvement. And that's going to cost money. How does that affect our monthly budget? And you'll get a really good idea of what you're looking at. Now, I'm not saying you need to be a miser when you retire or anything like that, but just know that the number you can control more than any other number, much more than the amount of your investment, is your expenses. You can control that number to a very large degree. Markets go up, markets go down, markets stay flat for decades. You can't really control that. Yes, you can diversify. Yes, you can make sure your asset allocation is appropriate for your risk tolerance and timeline for when you want to retire. And then once you are retired, yes, you can do that. And I love target-based funds, life cycle funds for that reason. But you can't control the market nearly to the degree that you can control your own monthly expenses. So the next time you sit down with your advisor or sit down with yourself as your own financial advisor, the number for retirement is your expenses. The nest egg is the second focus. Until next time, follow YNAB's 4 rules and you will win financially, even in retirement. You have not budgeted like this.